Have you ever stopped to think that the greatest blessings in your life might be right in front of your eyes? If you're watching this video, it's because Padre Pio has an urgent message for you today. Many people search endlessly for signs of blessings, looking for extraordinary events or material wealth. However, Padre Pio, with his profound wisdom, revealed something that will transform your perspective forever. Before we continue, if you believe in Padre Pio's wisdom, write in the comments, "I am blessed." Your comment will help spread this powerful message to those who need it most. What I'm about to share with you isn't just another message, it's a revelation that has changed countless lives. Padre Pio, through his extraordinary spiritual insights, identified 3 unmistakable signs that indicate you are truly blessed. These signs are so simple yet so profound that most people overlook them every single day. Today, we'll explore these 3 powerful signs that Padre Pio spoke about. If you have even one of them, you're more blessed than you realize. And here's what's truly remarkable. These blessings aren't about money, luxury cars, or material possessions. They're about something far more valuable. What you'll learn in the next few minutes will completely change how you view the blessings in your life. These aren't just words. They're transformative truths that Padre Pio shared with those who sought his guidance. Each of these signs is like a key that unlocks a deeper understanding of true abundance in your life. Stay with me until the end, because the 3rd sign is perhaps the most surprising of all. It's something you might have right now without even realizing. It's one of the greatest blessings you could receive. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you truly felt blessed? Think about that moment. Was it when you received something material, or was it during a simple, ordinary moment that suddenly felt extraordinary? Padre Pio understood something profound about blessings that many of us take years to realize. The most precious blessings often disguise themselves as ordinary parts of our daily lives. In his years of spiritual guidance, Padre Pio encountered thousands of people searching for signs of blessings in their lives. Some came to him seeking material prosperity, others looking for miraculous interventions. But what he consistently taught them, and what he continues to teach us today, is that true blessings often hide in plain sight. The most beautiful and natural manifestations of blessings, Padre Pio would say, are found in the simplest aspects of our lives. He understood that many people spend their entire lives searching for extraordinary signs while overlooking the profound blessings that surround them every day. Consider this. Have you ever noticed how we often take for granted the very things that others pray for? This is exactly what Padre Pio wanted us to understand. The signs of blessings he identified aren't dramatic or spectacular. They're deeply meaningful aspects of life that we sometimes fail to recognize as the precious gifts they truly are. These 3 signs Padre Pio spoke about aren't just markers of good fortune. They're foundations of a truly rich life. And here's what makes them so special. They're available to everyone, regardless of their financial situation, social status, or life circumstances. These blessings transcend material wealth and worldly success. As we explore each of these signs, I want you to think about your own life. You might discover that you're far more blessed than you ever realized. Remember, Padre Pio taught us that recognizing our blessings is the first step toward living a more fulfilled and grateful life. Let's talk about the first sign of blessing that Padre Pio identified: family. But before you think about the perfect family you see in movies or social media, let me share something important that Padre Pio taught. Family isn't about perfection, it's about presence and connection. When Padre Pio spoke about family as a blessing, he wasn't referring to a flawless family unit where everyone gets along perfectly. Instead, he spoke about something much more real and profound: the precious gift of having people in your life who care about you, who stand by you through both joy and hardship. You see, Padre Pio understood that family extends beyond blood relations. He would often say that family includes those souls who choose to walk beside us in life, trusted friends, mentors, and even those who come into our lives precisely when we need them most. Think about the people in your life who celebrate your victories and help you through your struggles. These are your family, your blessing. What makes this blessing so special is its power to transform ordinary moments into extraordinary memories. It's in the simple things: sharing a meal together, a phone call that lifts your spirits, someone remembering your birthday, or just having someone to talk to at the end of a long day. These moments might seem routine, but they're actually sacred gifts that many long for. Padre Pio would often compare family to a garden that needs daily tending. Some days, the garden might face storms or drought, but with care and patience, it continues to grow and flourish. He taught that even in families where there's conflict or misunderstanding, the very existence of these relationships is a blessing that offers opportunities for growth, forgiveness, and love. Remember those moments when someone from your family, whether by blood or by choice, was there for you when you needed them most. That's not coincidence. That's the blessing Padre Pio spoke about. It's in the cousin who checks on you regularly, the friend who's become like a sister, or the parent who still worries about you no matter your age. Even if your family situation isn't ideal, or if you've experienced loss or separation, Padre Pio's wisdom reminds us that family can take many forms. Sometimes, the family we create through friendships and meaningful connections can be just as powerful as the one we're born into. The blessing isn't in the perfect family structure. It's in having people who make your life journey less lonely. What truly matters is not the size of your family or how often you see them, but the knowledge that there are people in your life who care about your well-being, who pray for you, who think about you, and who would be there if you needed them. This connection, this sense of belonging, that's the first blessing Padre Pio wanted us to recognize and cherish. Now, let's explore the second blessing that Padre Pio identified: health. But before you think this only applies to those in perfect physical condition, listen carefully to what Padre Pio taught about this precious gift. When Padre Pio spoke about health as a blessing, he wasn't referring to having a perfect body or never experiencing illness. Instead, he spoke about something more fundamental: the miracle of being alive and functioning in this world. Think about it. The simple act of breathing, walking, seeing, or hearing, these are extraordinary gifts that we often take for granted. Padre Pio understood something profound about health that modern society often overlooks. He would say that health isn't just about the absence of illness. It's about the ability to experience life in all its forms. It's about waking up in the morning and being able to face another day, regardless of the challenges we might face. You see, even if you're dealing with health challenges, the very fact that you're here, watching this video, breathing, thinking, feeling, that's a blessing in itself. Padre Pio would often remind people that for every limitation we face, there are countless functions of our body working perfectly without us even noticing. Consider your heartbeat. It continues faithfully day and night without you having to think about it. Your lungs expand and contract, bringing life-giving oxygen to every cell in your body. Your mind can process thoughts, memories, and emotions. These aren't just biological functions, they're miracles happening every moment of every day. He would also emphasize that health extends beyond the physical body. Mental and emotional well-being are equally important parts of this blessing. The ability to think clearly, to feel emotions, to process experiences, these are all aspects of health that deserve our gratitude. Even if you're currently facing health challenges, Padre Pio's wisdom encourages us to focus on what's working rather than what isn't. If you can move your fingers, that's a blessing. If you can taste food, that's a blessing. If you can hear music or the voices of loved ones, that's a blessing. Each capability, no matter how small it might seem, is a gift worth celebrating. But perhaps most importantly, Padre Pio taught that health is a reminder of life's precious nature. It's an invitation to use whatever strength and abilities we have to live fully and serve others. Whether you're in peak physical condition or managing chronic conditions, The ability to experience life and participate in it is a profound blessing. The third blessing Padre Pio identified might surprise you. It's faith, but not in the way you might think. Padre Pio spoke about faith as an inner strength that carries us through life's challenges, even when we don't feel particularly strong or certain. Think about those moments when you faced something difficult, yet somehow found the strength to keep going. That's faith at work. It's not about having all the answers or never experiencing doubt. Instead, it's about having that small spark inside that helps you take one more step forward, even in darkness. Padre Pio would often say that faith isn't measured by the absence of problems, but by our response to them. It's like having an internal compass that helps us navigate through life's storms. Even when the path isn't clear, faith gives us the courage to keep moving forward. This blessing of faith manifests in unexpected ways. It's in the hope you feel when facing challenges. It's in the quiet certainty that tomorrow might be better. It's in the strength you find when you think you can't go on. Faith, according to Padre Pio, is this incredible force that helps us see beyond our current circumstances. But here's what makes this blessing truly special. Faith grows stronger through challenges, not despite them. Each difficulty you overcome, each doubt you work through, each moment of uncertainty you face, these aren't signs of weak faith. They're opportunities for faith to grow stronger. Padre Pio understood that faith isn't about never having questions or doubts. Instead, it's about maintaining that small flame of hope even when everything around us seems dark. It's about trusting that our struggles have meaning, that our efforts matter, that we're not alone in our journey. Even if you feel your faith is small, Padre Pio taught that this too is a blessing. Because faith, no matter how tiny, has the power to grow. It's like a seed that, when nurtured, can develop into something beautiful and strong. Every time you choose hope over despair, every time you take another step forward despite uncertainty, you're exercising this blessing. Remember, faith isn't just about religious beliefs. It's about having trust in life itself, in your ability to overcome challenges, in the possibility of better days ahead. This kind of faith is a profound blessing because it gives us the strength to face whatever life brings our way. As we reach the end of our journey together, let's take a moment to reflect on these three powerful blessings that Padre Pio revealed. Each one, family, health, and faith, represents a different dimension of true wealth in our lives. Think about it. You might have all three of these blessings right now. Your family, whether by blood or choice, provides you with support and love. Your health, in whatever measure you possess it, allows you to experience life's moments. And your faith, no matter how small it might seem, gives you the strength to face each day. Padre Pio's wisdom shows us that true blessings aren't found in what we want or what we lack, but in what we already have. These three signs aren't about perfection. They're about presence. The presence of people who care about us, the presence of life flowing through us, and the presence of hope within us. Now, I invite you to do something important. Take a moment to write in the comments which of these three blessings resonated most with you. Share your story. Your words might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today to recognize their own blessings. Remember, these blessings aren't static. They're living, growing gifts that become stronger when we acknowledge and nurture them. The more we recognize them, the more they multiply in our lives and in the lives of those around us. And here's something powerful Padre Pio taught. When we acknowledge our blessings, we open ourselves to receive more. Not because we're asking for more, but because we're finally seeing what was there all along. If you found value in this message today, help spread these words of wisdom. Share this video with someone who might need to be reminded of their blessings. Sometimes, the greatest gift we can give others is helping them see the blessings they already have. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to receive more messages of hope and wisdom from Padre Pio's teachings. Remember, you are blessed, perhaps more than you realize. If you're watching this video, it might be because God wants to warn you about something very serious. Have you ever felt like something is pulling you away from God, even when you're trying to get closer? Today, I'm going to reveal a powerful message that Padre Pio left about 7 groups of people who are at serious spiritual risk, something very few know about. My heart aches as I share this message with you today, but I need to do it before it's too late. Have you ever felt that deep heaviness in your chest, that unsettling feeling that something isn't right in your spiritual life? If so, pay very close attention to what I'm about to reveal. What Padre Pio discovered about these 7 groups is so profound that many prefer not to talk about it. But today, I'm choosing to share this truth with you because your spiritual future could depend on it. If you truly want to receive this message of protection, type in the comments right now, Padre Pio, protect me. Have you ever wondered why some people, even though they go to church, pray, and try to do everything right, still feel empty and distant from God? Padre Pio wept as he saw so many souls falling into these spiritual traps without even realizing it. What I'm about to reveal in the next few minutes is not just another message. It's an urgent warning that Padre Pio, with all his love and wisdom, left to protect us. A warning that could not only transform your life but also save the people you love the most. Pay close attention. If you find yourself relating to any of these 7 groups I'm about to reveal, do not lose hope. Padre Pio didn't just give us a warning, he also showed us the path to freedom. As he always said, where there is fear, place love. This message is so powerful that I urge you, if you know someone going through spiritual struggles, share this video right now. It might be the answer they've been searching for. What Padre Pio discovered about these 7 groups is so profound that many who hear it experience complete transformation in their lives. And now, I'm going to reveal each one of them. The first group consists of the unbelievers. These aren't just people who openly deny God's existence. They include those who have hardened their hearts against faith. Padre Pio observed that unbelief acts like a chain on the soul, preventing it from seeing God's light. Many of these individuals aren't evil. They've simply allowed doubt or intellectual pride to distance them from God. Have you ever felt your faith wavering? Have disappointments or unanswered questions led you to doubt? Padre Pio understood these struggles. He often counseled those wrestling with unbelief, reminding them that God never rejects those who seek Him with sincerity. The path back to faith begins with a simple prayer: Lord, increase my faith and help me see your presence in my life. The second group includes those seeking alternative paths to salvation. These are people who mix human philosophies, superstitions, or pagan beliefs with Christian faith. They might attend church, but also consult fortune tellers, practice unauthorized rituals, or follow teachings that contradict true faith. Padre Pio was crystal clear about this. Jesus Christ is the only way to salvation. Consider this. Have you been tempted to explore other spiritual practices? Have you mixed different beliefs, thinking they might provide extra protection or guidance? Padre Pio warns us that this spiritual confusion can lead us away from true salvation. The solution is simple, but requires commitment. Return to pure faith in Christ alone. The third group comprises the hypocrites, those who maintain an appearance of piety while their hearts remain far from God. Padre Pio often said that converting a hypocrite is more difficult than converting an acknowledged sinner. These people attend religious services, say prayers, and perform good deeds, but their hearts aren't truly surrendered to God. Examine your own life. Do your external actions match your inner devotion? Are you more concerned with appearing holy to others than actually growing closer to God? True faith, Padre Pio taught, begins with honesty before God. Before we continue with these important revelations from Padre Pio about salvation, I want to invite you to become part of this spiritual family. If these messages of protection and wisdom are touching your heart, you can support this space by becoming a channel member. Also, if this message is helping your life, don't forget to leave your thank you in the comments below. Now let's continue with these important revelations. Each of these groups faces unique spiritual dangers, but there's hope for all. Padre Pio emphasized that recognition of our spiritual condition is the first step toward change. No matter which group you might identify with, God's mercy remains available. The key is taking action now, while there's still time. Remember, these warnings come from a saint who spent countless hours in prayer and spiritual direction. He witnessed both the tragedy of souls lost through these spiritual pitfalls and the triumph of those who heeded these warnings and returned to God. Now let's explore two more groups that Padre Pio identified as being at risk of losing their salvation. These groups face particularly subtle spiritual dangers that can slowly lead souls away from God's grace. The fourth group consists of those who justify themselves. These are people who trust in their own righteousness rather than God's mercy. They believe their good works alone are sufficient for salvation, forgetting that everything is a gift from God. As Scripture reminds us, all our righteous acts are like filthy rags when we try to stand on our own merit. Think about your own spiritual life. Do you find yourself counting your good deeds? Do you compare yourself favorably to others, thinking you're good enough to earn heaven? Padre Pio witnessed many souls trapped in this spiritual pride. The antidote, he taught, is complete dependence on God's grace. True holiness begins with acknowledging our total need for God's mercy. Many in this group attend religious services regularly, give to charity, and lead seemingly exemplary lives. Yet their hearts harbor a dangerous presumption. They believe they can earn their way to heaven. Padre Pio warned that this attitude creates a barrier between the soul and God's saving grace. The solution isn't to stop doing good works, but to do them with humility, recognizing that all good comes from God. The fifth group, the blasphemers, includes those who deliberately reject or insult the work of the Holy Spirit. This isn't just about using inappropriate language. It's about a heart attitude that hardens itself against God's grace. Padre Pio saw this as one of the most dangerous spiritual conditions because it directly opposes the very source of spiritual life. Blasphemy against the Holy Spirit takes many forms. It might be attributing God's work to evil forces, deliberately opposing known truth, or persistently refusing God's mercy. The danger here isn't that God won't forgive these sins. It's that this attitude makes it extremely difficult for the person to seek forgiveness in the first place. Have you ever found yourself resisting God's work in your life? Have you attributed spiritual experiences to coincidence or other sources? Padre Pio would urge you to examine your heart carefully. The Holy Spirit's role is to convict us of sin and lead us to truth. Resisting this guidance puts our salvation at risk, but even for these groups, hope remains. Padre Pio witnessed remarkable conversions among people who once justified themselves or blasphemed against the Holy Spirit. The key is recognizing these attitudes in ourselves and turning to God with sincere repentance. The path to salvation always remains open for those willing to humble themselves before God. Remember, these warnings come from a saint who spent countless hours counseling souls and witnessing the spiritual battles they faced. His insights weren't meant to condemn, but to guide us toward authentic spiritual life. Each warning carries with it the promise of healing and restoration for those who heed it. The final two groups Padre Pio identified face perhaps the most serious spiritual dangers. These are the apostates and those who die without Christ. Let's understand why these conditions are particularly concerning and how we can avoid them. Apostasy, the sixth group, refers to those who abandon their faith after having known it. This isn't about moments of doubt or struggle, but a deliberate turning away from truth. Padre Pio saw this as especially tragic because these souls had tasted the goodness of God, but chose to walk away. Often, this happens gradually through small compromises that lead to bigger departures from faith. What causes someone to become an apostate? Padre Pio observed several common patterns: disappointment with God when prayers seem unanswered, intellectual pride that places human reasoning above faith, the attraction of worldly pleasures, and the influence of skeptical friends or family. Some leave the faith due to scandals or hurt caused by religious leaders, while others simply drift away through neglect of prayer and spiritual practices. Have you noticed your faith growing weaker over time? Are you participating less in spiritual activities than you used to? These could be warning signs of spiritual drift. Padre Pio emphasized that apostasy often begins with small compromises, missing prayer time, neglecting spiritual reading, or choosing worldly entertainment over spiritual growth. The seventh group, those who die without Christ, represents the ultimate spiritual tragedy. Padre Pio spent many nights in prayer for souls who risked facing eternity without accepting God's mercy. This group includes not only those who never knew Christ, but also those who repeatedly postponed their conversion, thinking they would have time later. Padre Pio stressed the urgency of conversion. Tomorrow isn't guaranteed, and the time for choosing Christ is now. He witnessed many souls who intended to return to God someday, but ran out of time. The spiritual life isn't something to be postponed until old age or illness. It requires immediate attention. Think about your own spiritual journey. Are you putting off important decisions about your faith? Are you waiting for a more convenient time to fully commit to God? Padre Pio would urge you not to delay. The grace available today might not be there tomorrow. For both these groups, there's hope as long as life continues. Padre Pio saw remarkable conversions, even among those who had long abandoned their faith. He witnessed deathbed returns to God that demonstrated the endless reach of God's mercy. However, he stressed that waiting for such last-minute conversions is extremely dangerous. The way back for apostates begins with acknowledging their departure from truth and humbly seeking to return. For those at risk of dying without Christ, the path forward is immediate acceptance of God's invitation to salvation. In both cases, Padre Pio emphasized that God's mercy awaits those who turn to him with sincere hearts. Remember, these warnings come from a saint who deeply understood human nature and God's mercy. His message isn't one of condemnation but of urgent love, calling souls back to the safety of God's embrace before it's too late. As we conclude our exploration of Padre Pio's crucial warnings about salvation, let's focus on the message of hope that underlies all his teachings. While these 7 groups face serious spiritual dangers, the very fact that Padre Pio shared these warnings demonstrates God's desire that all souls find their way to salvation. Each group we've discussed, the unbelievers, those seeking other paths, the hypocrites, the self-righteous, the blasphemers, the apostates, and those at risk of dying without Christ, represents a spiritual condition that can be overcome through God's grace. The key is responding to these warnings while there's still time. Padre Pio's life was dedicated to helping souls avoid these spiritual pitfalls. His stigmata, his gift of reading souls, and his long hours in the confessional were all directed toward one goal: helping people find their way back to God. He understood that knowledge of these spiritual dangers wasn't meant to discourage us, but to motivate us toward positive change. What steps can you take today? Start with honest self-examination. Which of these warnings resonates most with your current spiritual state? Then take action. Return to prayer, seek forgiveness where needed, and commit to following Christ with your whole heart. Remember, Padre Pio often said that the shortest path to heaven is the one of complete trust in God's mercy. Dear soul who has reached this point, if these teachings from Padre Pio about salvation have touched your heart, I invite you to leave a thank you below this video. This simple gesture of gratitude helps ensure more families can receive these valuable revelations. And if you wish to continue receiving more messages of protection and wisdom, become a member of this space of connection and faith. Together, we can create a community where peace and harmony become a reality in every home. The message of hope remains clear. While these 7 groups face serious spiritual dangers, no one is beyond the reach of God's mercy while they still live. Padre Pio's warnings serve as a loving wake-up call, inviting us to examine our lives and make necessary changes before it's too late. Take time today to reflect on these teachings. Share them with those you love who might need to hear them. Most importantly, let them inspire you to draw closer to God, knowing that His mercy is always greater than our weakness. August the 6th is the Feast of the Transfiguration, the day Jesus took Peter, James, and John up Mount Tabor and pulled back the curtain on reality. His face blazed like 1,000 suns. His clothes became lightning white. Heaven itself broke open. "This is my beloved Son. Listen to him." But here's the secret most people miss. Padre Pio used to say this moment wasn't a one-time show for three guys 2,000 years ago. He'd tell people transfiguration happens every time a soul stops running from God's love and lets Him set them on fire from the inside. Yet most of us sleepwalk through this day, like we're holding a winning lottery ticket but never scratch it off. If you believe Padre Pio understood something the rest of us are missing, write in the comments, "Transfigure me, Lord." Because today I'm sharing 3 specific things he said you must do on this feast day. Not suggestions. Spiritual dynamite. These aren't church rituals. They're keys that unlock something most people spend their whole lives searching for. Stay until the end. The third practice might be the spiritual breakthrough you've been unconsciously praying for your entire life. Picture Mount Tabor for a moment. Jesus, who'd been eating fish with fishermen and walking dusty roads, suddenly becomes a living sun. The apostles aren't just watching a miracle. They're seeing reality without its disguise. For one blazing moment, the invisible becomes visible. Heaven and earth shake hands. Padre Pio got this. This man who bled the wounds of Christ, who could read souls like open books, used to say, transfiguration isn't ancient history. It's God's standing invitation. But August 6th, this day carries rocket fuel. He'd tell people, on this feast, heaven leans so close to earth you can almost hear it breathing. The same fire that turned Jesus into pure light is knocking on your door, but you have to answer. That's exactly what I want to show you. Padre Pio left us a roadmap. 3 spiritual practices that he swore could crack your heart wide open to receive this transforming fire. Not tomorrow, today. Before we dive into these life-changing practices, let me share something that can deepen this journey even further. If you're serious about experiencing more of God's presence in your daily life, we've created something powerful. Our ebook, The Power of the Rosary with Padre Pio, Miracles, Protection, and Divine. This spiritual treasure will teach you to pray the Rosary with deeper devotion, reveal miracles from those who've experienced its power, share Padre Pio's most impactful teachings about prayer, provide a 30-day prayer guide with daily intentions, and give you access to special prayers for protection, healing, and deliverance. The Rosary was Padre Pio's secret weapon, and today it can become yours. Click the pinned link in the comments to download it. Now, let's unlock these 3 transformative practices, because today isn't just another square on the calendar. Today is your invitation to catch fire. The first thing Padre Pio said you must do, become a spiritual mountain climber. Wait, before you think this is some mystical nonsense, listen to what he really meant. Padre Pio would tell people, God calls you to step out of the noise so you can finally hear him without static interference. Think about it. Transfiguration didn't happen in Jerusalem's chaos. Not in the marketplace with vendors shouting prices. It happened in the thin air of Mount Tabor, where silence has weight. When did you last taste real silence? Not just muted TV. Soul deep quiet, where you can hear your own heartbeat. Most of us live in a tornado of notifications, conversations, worries spinning like debris. We've forgotten that God whispers. But here's Padre Pio's secret. A hungry soul with nothing to offer receives galaxies more than a distracted soul with perfect prayers. Here's your mission. Find your sacred space right now. Could be your bedroom, kitchen table. Even your car becomes holy ground when you invite God in. Close your eyes, kill your phone completely. 3 deep breaths, then say, Jesus, take me where you took Peter, James, and John. I'm ready to see what's real. Sounds too simple? Don't let simplicity fool you. Padre Pio said the most earth-shattering prayers often use the fewest words. Sit in that silence. Don't force visions or overwhelming emotions. Sometimes God's light arrives as unexplainable peace. Sometimes as crystal clarity about something that's been haunting you. Sometimes just as bone deep, knowing that you're not alone in this universe. Sarah from Dallas wrote us about trying this last year. She said, I was drowning in my divorce proceedings, felt completely abandoned by everyone. But when I asked Jesus to take me up that spiritual mountain, this warm presence wrapped around me like a blanket. First time in months I could breathe without crying. This is spiritual mountain climbing, not about geography, about lifting your heart above life's static and meeting Jesus in the frequency where he's always broadcasting. But this is just base camp, because once you've tuned into God's frequency, something powerful needs to happen in that sacred silence. The second practice, stop hiding your broken pieces from the light. Here's what Padre Pio meant. He'd tell people, Jesus wants to be a bonfire in your soul. But most people only let him see their pretty kindling while hiding the real fuel in the basement. Think about this. We invite Jesus into our lives, then give him the guided tour of our best rooms while keeping certain doors locked. We show him our Sunday smiles, our charitable donations, our good intentions. But what about the basement? What about that anger you've been feeding for years? The pride that makes you defensive when someone calls you out, the fear that keeps you awake at 3 a.m., the jealousy that gnaws your peace, the habits that make you hate yourself but feel impossible to break. Today, in your sacred silence, God is asking you to stop the performance. Padre Pio said, Christ doesn't renovate exteriors, he rewires hearts. But he can only transform what you stop hiding. This isn't self-torture or dwelling in shame. This is surgical honesty, saying, Lord, I've got some serious shadows. Turn them into light. Be ruthlessly specific. Name what's stealing your peace. Resentment, call it out. Jesus, I'm still poisoned by what they did, and I don't know how to detox. Financial terror. Admit it, Lord, I'm terrified I won't have enough, and it's eating me alive. That habit you keep promising to quit. Confess it. Jesus, I keep falling into the same trap, and I feel like a fraud. Here's the beautiful truth Padre Pio understood. Jesus isn't shocked by your shadows. He said, Christ gets excited when you invite him into rooms where nobody else is allowed. Your shame isn't disqualification. It's raw material for miracles. Michael from Phoenix shared this with us. I'd been carrying guilt about a mistake I made 20 years ago. Finally told Jesus about it on Transfiguration Feast Day. This weight I didn't even realize I was carrying just evaporated. Like breathing after being underwater my whole life. When you surrender your darkness to Jesus, you're not just getting rid of garbage. You're creating space for something magnificent. Every shadow becomes a spotlight for his glory. But there's one more practice Padre Pio insisted on, and it might ignite everything. The third practice, see Jesus where he's actually hiding in plain sight. Padre Pio saw Jesus in the consecrated host with supernatural vision. He'd tell people, if you could see what I see, the host would outshine every star in the sky. This wasn't poetry, this was Padre Pio's reality. During Mass, he'd become so overwhelmed by Jesus' presence in the Eucharist that tears would stream down his face, sometimes so absorbed that Mass lasted hours because he couldn't bear to look away. He understood what most of us miss. The same Jesus who became a human lightning bolt on Mount Tabor is present right now, hidden behind the appearance of bread, but no less real, no less powerful, no less ready to set your life on fire. Today, if possible, visit a church. Kneel before the tabernacle where Jesus waits. Look at that simple golden door and remember, behind it is the Creator of galaxies, the Savior who conquered death, the God who wants nothing more than to flood you with His light. Can't get to church? Padre Pio taught spiritual adoration. From wherever you are, pray. Jesus, today we celebrate your blazing glory. I worship you hidden in the Eucharist. Give me supernatural eyes to recognize you everywhere. But don't just recite words, mean them, feel them. Padre Pio said, a soul that truly adores Jesus becomes a lighthouse for others without even trying. When you genuinely encounter Jesus in the Eucharist, something rewires inside you. You start carrying His presence everywhere. You become a walking tabernacle. Think about those apostles coming down Mount Tabor. They were different men. They'd seen God's glory, and it changed their spiritual DNA. When you adore Jesus in the Eucharist with real faith, identical transformation happens. You start seeing His light everywhere, in your family, in your struggles, in ordinary moments that suddenly pulse with sacred meaning. This isn't just personal devotion. Padre Pio knew, when one soul truly recognizes Jesus, the whole planet gets a little brighter. Your adoration sends light waves rippling through a world choking on darkness. Today is August 6th. Heaven is throwing a party, remembering Jesus' glory, but He wants to throw that same party inside your soul. Let me connect these dots. These three practices aren't separate spiritual exercises. They're one explosive movement. First, you create sacred space through silence, building a landing pad where God can touch down. Then, in that holy quiet, you surrender every shadow to His light, holding back nothing. Finally, you adore Him in the Eucharist with everything you've got, recognizing His real presence and letting that recognition rewire your entire worldview. See the beautiful progression. Silence prepares your heart. Surrender cleanses your heart. Adoration ignites your heart. And when your heart is prepared, cleansed, and ignited, something extraordinary happens. You become a human bonfire of His light. Padre Pio promised, those who truly see Christ become what they're looking at. Not just spiritual poetry, scientific fact. When you genuinely encounter Jesus through these practices, His light begins blazing through you. Your family notices something different. Co-workers sense peace they can't explain. Strangers are drawn to something they glimpse in your presence. This is Transfiguration's real miracle. Not that Jesus showed His glory to 3 guys 20 centuries ago, but that He wants to show His glory through you, today, in your ordinary life. The same divine fire that blazed from His face on Mount Tabor is available to blaze from your life. But understand this light doesn't fade when the sun sets. When you genuinely practice what Padre Pio taught, you're not having a temporary spiritual high. You're opening a portal in your soul that stays open. You're creating a pathway for God's light that strengthens every time you walk it. Sarah, who felt God's presence during her divorce, that peace never completely left. Michael, who surrendered his 20-year guilt. It transformed how he approaches every relationship. This is authentic transformation. Not fleeting emotion, but permanent rewiring of how you move through the world. Today, heaven isn't waiting for crowds. It's waiting for you. Right now, Jesus is extending the same invitation He gave those 3 apostles. Come up here with me. Let me show you what's really happening. Let me show you who you really are when my light shines through you. Here's what happens next. Don't wait for tomorrow. Don't tell yourself you'll try this when you feel more spiritual or have more time. Today is August 6th. This invitation expires at midnight. First, find your quiet space and become a spiritual mountain climber. Even 10 minutes. Create that sacred silence where you can hear God's voice above life's chaos. Second, bring him every shadow you've been hiding, your fears, anger, shame, struggles. Stop performing. Start trusting. Let him turn your darkness into dawn. Third, adore him in the Eucharist with your whole heart. Whether physically in church or making spiritual adoration from home, recognize that the same Jesus who blazed like lightning on Mount Tabor is present and ready to ignite your life. Remember Padre Pio's promise: those who truly see Christ become what they're looking at. You don't just receive his light, you become his light. You carry his presence into every room, every conversation, every challenge. If these words have ignited something in your heart, if you feel that call to let Jesus transfigure your life, write in the comments, "Transfigure me, Lord." Your words aren't just comments, they're prayers rising to heaven. When you write those words, you join thousands of souls choosing to step into God's light today. Don't keep this fire to yourself. Share this video with 3 people who need God's transforming love. Maybe families struggling in darkness. Maybe friends who've lost hope. Maybe someone who needs reminding that God hasn't forgotten them. Your sharing could be the spark that changes someone's life forever. Want to keep growing in faith and discovering more of Padre Pio's life-changing wisdom? Subscribe and hit that notification bell. We're here to walk this journey with you, sharing truth that can revolutionize your relationship with God. Remember Padre Pio's words: pray, have faith, and don't worry. The love you're seeking is closer than your next heartbeat. God's light is already shining on you. Today, you're just learning to see it, receive it, and become it. Today, heaven is waiting for your yes. And when you say yes to Jesus, you'll discover that his light doesn't just change your day, it rewires your eternity. May God set you ablaze on this feast of his transfiguration. Have you ever felt that inexplicable sensation that someone was watching over you? That moment when, for some reason, you changed your usual path and later discovered you avoided a major problem? Or perhaps that night when you woke up for no apparent reason, only to realize you had forgotten the stove on. These are not mere coincidences. And today, I'm going to reveal something that will completely change the way you see these situations. Padre Pio, in his writings, shared an extraordinary truth. There are clear signs that reveal the presence of a guardian angel in our home. And the most surprising thing is that these signs are happening all the time, right under our noses, but most people simply don't know how to identify them. If you believe in the protection of angels, write in the comments, "My guardian angel, protect me." Do this now, as this simple act of faith can strengthen your connection with your spiritual protector. What I'm about to share with you today is not just pretty words or vague theories. These are 5 concrete signs, observed and documented by Padre Pio throughout his years of spiritual experience. Signs that once you learn to recognize them, will completely transform your perception of the protection you receive daily. Imagine waking up every morning with the absolute certainty that you are not alone, that there is a protective force by your side, guiding your steps and shielding you and your family. This is not a fantasy. It is a reality that many people already experience, even if they cannot explain how or why. Padre Pio often said that our spiritual protectors are closer than we imagine, but we must be attentive to the signs of their presence. And that is exactly what I'm going to reveal to you today. The 5 unmistakable signs that indicate a guardian angel has chosen your home as its dwelling. The first of these signs is so astonishing that when people discover it, they are amazed to realize how many times they have already experienced it without giving it proper importance. It is something that can happen at any moment of your day, in seemingly ordinary situations, but it carries a very special meaning. Before revealing each of these signs, you need to understand something fundamental. This is not just any message. It is knowledge that has been kept and preserved for a long time, and it has the power to completely transform your spiritual life and your connection with your protectors. Many people go through their entire lives feeling like something is missing, that they need more protection, more guidance. But the truth is that protection already exists. We just need to learn how to recognize it and connect with it more consciously. That's why each sign I'm about to reveal is not just information. It's a key that will open your eyes to a dimension of protection and care that has always been present in your life, but that you may have never fully noticed. Get ready, because in the next few minutes, you will uncover truths that will change your perspective forever. And remember, the more attentive you are to this message, the stronger your connection will be with the blessings I am about to reveal. Now, before I start revealing each of the 5 signs, I want you to answer honestly. Have you ever had that inexplicable feeling that something or someone protected you from imminent danger? Take a moment to think about it, because you may have already experienced the first of the signs I'm about to reveal. Padre Pio had an extraordinary ability to perceive the presence of angels. In his letters and writings, he always emphasized how these protectors act in our lives in very practical and real ways. They are not just distant beings, they are constant companions in our daily journey. And do you know what one of Padre Pio's greatest concerns was? Seeing how so many people went through difficult moments without realizing that they had a force beside them capable of helping them. It's like having a treasure stored in your home without knowing it exists. Many of you have probably experienced inexplicable situations. That moment when you were about to make an important decision, and suddenly something inside you said, "Don't do it." Or that time when you found the solution to a problem in a completely unexpected way, as if someone whispered the answer in your ear. What happens is that our spiritual protectors work in subtle ways. They don't appear with shining wings or the sound of trumpets. Their presence is delicate, respectful, and constant. That's precisely why Padre Pio dedicated so much time to teaching people how to recognize these signs. When you learn to identify the presence of these protectors in your home, something extraordinary happens. It's as if your eyes are open to a new dimension of care and protection that has always been there, but you couldn't fully see before. And this isn't just about protection from physical dangers. Guardian angels, according to Padre Pio's teachings, also protect us from excessive worries, help us maintain peace during turbulent times, and even guide us toward opportunities that can improve our lives. Think about your home for a moment, that place you call your sanctuary. Have you ever stopped to notice how many potentially dangerous situations have been avoided? How many small accidents that could have happened simply didn't? It's interesting to note how Padre Pio always emphasized that guardian angels have a special fondness for family environments. They choose to dwell in homes where they can fulfill their mission of protection more completely, watching over not just one person, but the entire family. Now get ready, because I'm about to reveal each of the 5 signs that indicate your home has been chosen as a dwelling place by one of these special protectors. And the first of these signs is something you may have experienced as recently as today. The first sign that reveals the presence of a guardian angel in your home is what Padre Pio called subtle interventions in daily life. These are those moments when you feel a sudden urge to check on something in your house. For instance, you're about to leave and, for no apparent reason, feel an urgent need to go back and double-check the windows, the stove, or some other detail. When you do, you discover there was indeed something that required your attention. This isn't merely a case of good memory or intuition. Padre Pio explained that our protectors have a unique way of communicating with us through these small alerts. It's as if they gently touch our consciousness, warning us about something that needs our immediate attention. And it's not just warnings about danger. Sometimes you might feel an inexplicable urge to call a family member, only to find out they really needed to hear your voice at that moment. Or perhaps you decide to rearrange your daily tasks, and because of this change, you avoid a mishap or encounter an unexpected opportunity. The second sign is even more fascinating. Padre Pio described it as unexplainable harmony. This is when your home becomes a place of peace, even in the midst of challenging situations. You may have noticed how some places have a special energy, a feeling of warmth and comfort that goes beyond the decor or organization of the space. This harmony manifests in various ways. For example, you might notice that family arguments tend to resolve more quickly in your home, or perhaps visitors often comment on how peaceful and welcome they feel when they're at your place. Even pets seem calmer and more balanced in certain areas of the house. Padre Pio taught that guardian angels create a sort of energetic field of protection when they choose a home to dwell in. It's as if they establish a frequency of peace that affects everyone who lives there or visits. It's no coincidence that you may feel a noticeable difference when you return home after a difficult day. This harmony also manifests in how problems are resolved in your home. You may notice that, even in seemingly unsolvable situations, answers eventually arise in unexpected ways. It's as if an invisible force is orchestrating circumstances in your favor. And do you know what's even more interesting? These first two signs tend to intensify when you acknowledge and express gratitude for them. It's as though the simple act of recognizing and valuing these manifestations further opens the door for your protectors to act in your life. Now, before I reveal the third sign, which is even more surprising, take a moment to reflect. How many times have you experienced these manifestations without realizing they were signs of your protectors present? How many coincidences in your life might have been, in reality, the careful interventions of your guardian angel? The third sign is what Padre Pio called protection through dreams. Have you ever noticed how sometimes you wake up in the middle of the night with a very clear feeling that you need to do something? It's not just insomnia, it's waking with purpose. This is one of the most striking signs of a protector's presence in your home. This protection during sleep manifests in various ways. For instance, those nights when you wake up a few minutes before your alarm clock, feeling completely refreshed, or when you wake up suddenly and realize you forgot to do something important but still have time to address it. But it doesn't stop there. This third sign also reveals itself through dreams that bring answers to situations you're dealing with. Those moments when you go to bed worried about a problem and wake up with a clear idea of how to solve it. These are not coincidences. They are forms of communication that our protectors use when we are most receptive. Padre Pio explained that during sleep, our minds are more open to receiving spiritual guidance. It's as though our protectors use these moments to transmit important messages, alert us to situations that need our attention, or simply provide the rest we need to face the challenges of the next day. The fourth sign is equally extraordinary, the synchronicity of encounters. This sign manifests when the right people seem to cross your path at exactly the moment you need them most. It's as if there's an invisible organization of events in your life. Think about how many times you've found the solution to a problem through someone who appeared unexpectedly in your life, or how certain people seem to come to you precisely when their skills or advice are most needed. This synchronicity also shows itself in small details of daily life. That phone call that comes just as you were thinking of the person, that friend who shows up with the information you desperately needed, or even a stranger who offers a comforting word at just the right moment. Padre Pio always emphasized that our protectors work by organizing these coincidences in our lives. They know exactly who can help us in each situation and create the opportunities for these encounters to happen. What's even more fascinating is that when you start to notice this pattern of synchronicities in your life, they tend to become even more frequent and meaningful. It's as if the simple act of recognizing these manifestations creates even more space for them to occur. Now imagine how many times you've benefited from these synchronicities without realizing that they were, in fact, the careful work of your protector. How many important people in your life may have been brought to you through this invisible organization of events. Get ready, because the fifth and final sign I'm about to reveal is perhaps the most surprising of all. It's the one that, once you understand it, will completely change the way you view the seemingly casual situations that happen in your life. The fifth sign, which Padre Pio considered the most significant of all, is what he called the multiplication of blessings. This sign manifests when you begin to notice a sequence of small victories and achievements in your life, as if an invisible force is working in your favor in every detail. This sign isn't about great miracles or extraordinary events. It's about those small daily blessings that, when observed together, reveal a pattern of constant protection and care. These are the moments when everything seems to fall into place perfectly, even in the most challenging situations. For instance, you may have experienced days when a series of small positive events happen in succession. You find something you've been looking for, receive unexpected good news, or solve a problem that seemed complicated with surprising ease. When these situations start to occur more frequently, you are experiencing the fifth sign. Padre Pio explained that this sign is like a special signature from our protectors. It's their way of showing us that they are constantly at work in our lives, not just during big moments of need, but also in the small details of everyday life. And here's something truly remarkable. This sign has the power to multiply when shared. When you acknowledge these blessings in your life and share your gratitude with others, it's as if you open an even larger channel for these manifestations to happen. Now, let's connect all the signs we've revealed today. Think about how they manifest in your life. The subtle interventions in daily life, the unexplainable harmony in your home, the protection through dreams, the synchronicity of encounters, and the multiplication of blessings. Together, they form a complete network of protection in your life. What's most fascinating is how these signs complement each other. For instance, when you're attentive to the first sign, subtle interventions, you naturally become more receptive to the fifth sign, multiplication of blessings. It's as if each sign strengthens your connection to the others. Here's an important revelation. These signs aren't a privilege reserved for a select few. They are available to everyone who is open to recognizing and receiving them. The only difference is that some people have already learned to identify these manifestations, while others haven't yet paid attention to them. Padre Pio taught that our protectors are always ready to intensify their presence in our lives. They are simply waiting for us to be more attentive and receptive to their signs. It's like having a wonderful gift always at hand. We just need to be willing to accept it. So from today on, start observing your life more closely. Pay attention to the small details, the apparent coincidences, the moments of unexplainable peace. Each of these moments could be a sign of protective presence in your life. And remember, the more you recognize and give thanks for these signs, the stronger your connection to this protection becomes. It's a virtuous cycle that grows stronger each day, bringing increasing peace, harmony, and blessings into your life. If you've realized that you've experienced any of these signs, share your experience. Your testimony could help others recognize these manifestations in their own lives. And don't forget to write, "My guardian angel, protect me," in the comments to further strengthen this circle of protection. From now on, you have the knowledge needed to identify these 5 signs in your life. Use this wisdom with gratitude and mindfulness, and allow your protectors to act more powerfully along your journey. Always remember, you are never alone. There is a protective force by your side, tirelessly working for your well-being and safety. And now that you know the signs of their presence, your life will never be the same. Have you ever noticed how some objects in your home seem to bring a strange feeling, as if something isn't quite right, but you can't pinpoint exactly what it is? Today, I'm going to share with you an urgent message from Padre Pio that could completely change the energy of your home. If you're watching this video, it's not by chance. Padre Pio, known for his incredible spiritual sensitivity and gift of discernment, warned about 3 specific objects that could be negatively affecting your home at this very moment. Objects that seem harmless but, according to him, need to be urgently removed. Before revealing what these objects are, I want you to pause and look around. Observe every corner of your home. That decoration you love so much could be hiding something that interferes with your prayers and inner peace. And no, this isn't about superstition. I'm sharing the wisdom of one of the most insightful saints in the history of the Church. If you've ever felt inexplicable moments of tension at home, arguments without any apparent reason, or that heavy sensation in the atmosphere, you need to pay close attention to what I'm about to reveal. Padre Pio, with his profound spiritual experience, identified these objects as true antennas for energies that can disrupt the harmony of your home. And if you think you're immune because your home is small or you own few objects, I need to warn you, size doesn't matter. Even a single item can be enough to cause disturbances that affect you and your family. The good news is that the solution is simpler than you might think. If you believe in the wisdom of Padre Pio, write in the comments, "I want to protect my home." This message is so important that I can't keep it to myself. Every minute you spend with these objects in your home is one more minute exposed to influences that could affect your peace and prosperity. Get ready to discover what these 3 objects are and, more importantly, learn exactly how to remove them the right way. Because yes, there is a specific way to do this, to ensure the negative energy doesn't linger in your home. The first object that Padre Pio warned us to urgently remove from our homes is broken or cracked mirrors. You might think this is just an old superstition, but the truth goes much deeper. Padre Pio, with his extraordinary spiritual sensitivity, explained that a damaged mirror isn't just a broken object, it's an open door to disturbances in your home. Take a moment to think. How many times have you looked at a cracked mirror and felt something different? That strange feeling is no coincidence. According to Padre Pio's teachings, when a mirror breaks or cracks, it loses its ability to reflect light properly. But it's not just physical light that's affected, it's also the spiritual light that flows through your home. Imagine your home as a sacred space where your prayers and blessings circulate freely. A broken mirror acts as an obstacle to that flow, distorting and fragmenting these positive energies. It's like trying to see your reflection in a shattered mirror. The image becomes distorted, incomplete. The same happens with the blessings in your home. But there's something even more serious. A cracked mirror doesn't just distort positive energies, it can amplify negative ones. Each crack acts like a small antenna, capturing and magnifying disturbances that might otherwise go unnoticed. This could explain sudden arguments, that heavy feeling in the atmosphere, or even the unexplained difficulties your family has been facing. You might be wondering, what if the mirror is small? Or the crack is minimal? The answer is clear. Size doesn't matter. According to Padre Pio, even a small crack can be enough to cause significant disturbances. It's like a tiny fissure in a glass of water. No matter how small, the water will still leak. The good news is that there's a solution. The first step is to identify all the damaged mirrors in your home. Search carefully. Small cracks can easily go unnoticed. Check decorative mirrors, antique frames, and even that small compact mirror tucked away in a drawer. Once you find a damaged mirror, it's essential to remove it properly. Simply throwing it away isn't enough. Padre Pio taught that you should wrap the mirror in a white cloth or paper while saying a prayer of protection. This prevents the accumulated energies from dispersing during its removal. After removing the mirror, it's important to energetically cleanse the area where it was. You can use holy water if you have it, or say a prayer of protection in that space. If you decide to replace the mirror, make sure to choose a new one without any damage. A helpful tip: when buying new mirrors, examine them carefully before bringing them into your home. Check for any cracks, no matter how small. Remember, prevention is always better than correction. Now get ready to discover the second object that, according to Padre Pio, must be urgently removed from your home. And believe me, this next item is even more common and could be affecting your life without you even realizing it. The second object Padre Pio warned us to remove from our homes might surprise you: figures and images of owls, regardless of the material they're made of. You might have one in your home right now, in paintings, pillows, jewelry, or even small decorations. Why owls? Padre Pio explained that these symbols, even when used merely as decorations, can act as points of attraction for heavy energies. It doesn't matter if the owl is made of ceramic, painted in a picture, or embroidered on fabric, the symbolism remains the same. Many people have owls in their homes without knowing their potential impact. Look around. These images may be in places you'd never expect. Sometimes they're hidden in fabric patterns, old jewelry stored away for years, or even in gifts we've kept out of consideration. The signs that an owl image may be affecting your home can be subtle. Have you noticed difficulty sleeping, restlessness without any apparent reason, a feeling of being watched? According to Padre Pio, these could be indications that the energies in your home are not flowing properly. It's important to understand that this isn't about the animal itself, but about the use of its image as a decorative symbol. The owl, as a natural creature, plays an important role in nature. The issue lies in its symbolic representation within our homes. How to remove these items properly. First, take a complete inventory of your home. Look through all your drawers, cabinets and storage boxes. You might be surprised at how many objects with this symbol you've accumulated over the years. When you find these images, don't discard them carelessly. Padre Pio advised doing so with respect and mindfulness. If the item was a gift, you might gently explain to the giver your decision to remove it. If it has material value, you can sell or donate it, as long as you share your reasons. To replace these objects, opt for items that bring positive energy to your home. Images of flowers, natural landscapes, or symbols of faith are excellent alternatives. The key is that your new decor contributes to creating an environment of peace and harmony. After removing all objects with owl imagery, perform an energy cleanse in the space. Open the windows, let sunlight in, and refresh the air. If possible, light a white candle and say a prayer of protection for your home. This cleansing helps renew the energy in the space. Many people report significant changes after removing these objects from their homes. Better sleep quality, a more peaceful family atmosphere, and a lighter feeling in the air. These transformations can begin as soon as you decide to make this change. Now, get ready to discover the third and final object that Padre Pio urged us to remove urgently. This next item might be hidden in your home in ways you never imagined, and its effects could be even deeper than you think. The third object that needs to be removed from your home immediately is decorative masks, especially those that represent faces. This warning from Padre Pio is particularly important because these masks have become common decorative items, often brought home as travel souvenirs or received as gifts. According to Padre Pio's teachings, masks are not just simple decorative pieces. They can act as points of interference with the spiritual protection of your home. Even if a mask looks beautiful or holds sentimental value, its presence may be affecting the peace and harmony of your family. The issue with masks goes beyond their physical appearance. Each mask, regardless of its design or origin, carries its own energy. Whether it's an African mask, a Venetian mask, or an Oriental one, all have the potential to disrupt the spiritual environment of your home. You might be wondering about the real impact these masks have on your home. The signs can include frequent arguments among family members, difficulties in communication, a feeling of heaviness in the atmosphere, and even recurring, unexplained problems. The location of the mask in your home also matters. Some people place them in living rooms, hallways, or even bedrooms. According to Padre Pio, the more central or visible the position of the mask, the greater its influence on the environment. To properly remove these masks, start by conducting a thorough inventory. Look not only on walls, but also on shelves, in cabinets, and in decoration storage boxes. Sometimes, masks are found in miniatures or other decorative objects that are not immediately noticeable. The removal process should ideally be done in the morning as the sun is rising. Carefully and respectfully take down each mask. If possible, Wrap them in white cloth before discarding them. This process helps minimize any residual energy that may be present. After the removal, it's essential to cleanse the area where the masks were displayed. Use water mixed with coarse salt to clean the space, always moving from the door inward into the room. This cleansing helps restore the energetic balance of the environment. To replace the masks in your decor, choose elements that convey peace and lightness. Artwork featuring natural landscapes, protective symbols, or even well-organized empty spaces are excellent alternatives. The important thing is that the new decor contributes to a lighter and more harmonious environment. Many people notice significant changes after removing masks from their homes. Family communication improves, the atmosphere becomes lighter, and there's a general sense of well-being that previously felt blocked. These transformations begin to occur naturally when we remove these interfering objects. Now that you know the 3 objects that must be urgently removed, I'll share some additional guidance to complement the cleansing of your home. These are simple but powerful practices that, when combined with the removal of these objects, can completely transform the energy of your home. Now that you've removed these 3 objects from your home, I'll share complementary guidance that Padre Pio taught us to keep our homes protected. These are simple practices, but they make a big difference when carried out with faith and regularity. The first recommendation is about the importance of coarse salt. Place a small dish of coarse salt in each corner of your home, especially in bedrooms and the living room. Salt has natural absorption and cleansing properties. Replace the salt every 7 days, always discarding the old salt in running water. Another essential recommendation is to create a dedicated space for your prayers. It doesn't have to be an entire room. Just a small corner in the living room or bedroom is enough. Keep this space clean and organized, free from electronics and distractions. This is where you will strengthen your spiritual connection daily. Order and cleanliness are essential for maintaining balanced energies. Padre Pio emphasized the importance of not accumulating unnecessary objects. Regularly clean out closets and drawers, donate items you no longer use, and organize your belongings with care and attention. An organized space reflects a peaceful mind. The entrance to your home deserves special attention. Keep the door and main windows clean regularly. You can place a vase with flowers or plants near the entrance. They help harmonize the environment and attract good energy. Avoid leaving shoes, umbrellas, or other items cluttered near the door. A powerful practice is regular spiritual cleansing of the environment. Once a week, open all the windows in the morning, letting in sunlight and fresh air. While doing this, focus on positive thoughts and pray for protection for your home. This simple action helps renew stagnant energies. Cultivate a harmonious family atmosphere. Avoid heated arguments, negative words, or behaviors that might disturb the peace of your home. When disagreements arise, resolve them calmly and wisely. Respectful dialogue strengthens family bonds and keeps the environment balanced. Plants are also great allies in protecting your home. Choose species that adapt well to indoor environments and care for them attentively. In addition to purifying the air, plants bring life and positive energy to the space. Avoid plants with thorns or pointed leaves inside your home. By following these additional steps, you'll not only maintain the positive energy created by removing harmful objects, but also continue to strengthen and protect the spiritual harmony of your home. These simple actions can have profound effects, transforming your living space into a true sanctuary of peace and light. Maintain a routine of gratitude. Every day, either upon waking or before going to sleep, give thanks for your home, your family, and your blessings. Gratitude is a powerful way to attract more blessings and keep positive energy flowing in your home. If you notice any signs of imbalance, such as constant irritation, insomnia, discomfort, or a heavy feeling in the atmosphere, intensify these protective practices. Sometimes, during challenging periods, we need to double down on our spiritual care. The transformation of your home begins now. With the removal of those 3 objects and the implementation of these practices, you are creating a truly protected and blessed environment. Follow these guidelines with faith and perseverance, and you'll soon notice positive changes in your home and in your family's life. You've just learned about the 3 objects Padre Pio warned us to urgently remove from our homes: broken or cracked mirrors, owl images, and decorative masks. Removing these items is just the first step in transforming your home into a truly protected space. Remember, every object we keep in our homes influences the environment around us. Don't underestimate the power of these small changes. Many families have already experienced significant transformations after following these recommendations from Padre Pio. Protecting your home is a priority. Make these changes as soon as possible. Start today by identifying these objects in your house. The longer you wait, the more you remain exposed to these influences that can affect your peace and prosperity. If you've already identified any of these objects in your home, share your experience in the comments. Your story could help others who are going through the same situation. Write "I will protect my home" in the comments if you are committed to making these changes. And don't forget to activate the notification bell to receive more important messages like this. Share this video with family and friends who might need this guidance. Padre Pio's wisdom continues to guide and protect us to this day. Do your part. Protect your home. Take care of your family. Blessings are on their way to those who act with faith and determination. We'll see you in the next video with more important revelations for your life. Have you ever walked into your home and felt something off, like there's a heaviness in the air you can't quite explain? Maybe it's a sadness that lingers, or a tension that never goes away. Listen, Padre Pio used to say something that might surprise you. He said that sometimes the sadness we carry isn't just about what's happening inside us. It's also about what we're surrounding ourselves with. The things we keep in our homes can actually be stealing our peace, our health, and even blocking the blessings heaven wants to pour into our lives. If you believe your home deserves God's protection, write in the comments, "Lord, bless my home." Today I'm sharing something Padre Pio taught with absolute conviction. There are 7 types of things many of us keep in our houses that can actually attract sickness and sadness. And here's what shocked me most. The 7th type is the one people trust the most, the one sitting in almost every Christian home. The one nobody suspects. This isn't about fear, it's about freedom. Padre Pio wanted us living in freedom, protected by faith, surrounded by light instead of shadows. So pay attention, because what you're about to discover might change the way you see your home forever. Padre Pio could see things we can't see. He understood that our homes aren't just physical spaces, they're spiritual territories. Your home is where you start your day and end it, where your kids play, where you pray. It's supposed to be a sanctuary, but Padre Pio warned that the enemy doesn't sleep. He's always looking for a way in. He used to say, "The devil hides where no one suspects him, and we're better to hide than in corners where nobody's paying attention." Most of us keep our homes physically clean, but Padre Pio said we need to keep them spiritually clean too. We need to make sure we're not holding on to things that push away God's grace, because just like holy water purifies, there are objects that can contaminate the soul. The saints weren't superstitious. They had such strong faith they could recognize counterfeits from miles away. Padre Pio would walk into a room and immediately know if something was off. He'd ask, "Where did you get that?" Get rid of it. It doesn't belong in a Christian home. This isn't about being paranoid, it's about being awake. The Apostle Paul reminds us our struggle isn't against flesh and blood, but against spiritual forces. Those forces use whatever tools they can find. When people actually listened to Padre Pio and cleaned their homes spiritually, things changed. The atmosphere shifted, arguments decreased, sleep improved. That unexplained anxiety started to fade. It wasn't magic, it was simply removing obstacles so God's grace could flow freely again. So let's get into it. The first thing Padre Pio warned about is everywhere: amulets. Those little charms people wear thinking they'll bring good luck or protection. Evil eye beads, horseshoes, crystals with special energy, protective bracelets. Padre Pio called them an insult to God's providence. Think about that, an insult. Why? Because when you trust an object to protect you, you're saying God isn't enough. But real protection doesn't come from a piece of metal. It comes from the sign of the cross, from your blessed rosary, from living in God's grace. If you have these things, sprinkle them with holy water, pray over them and throw them away. Don't pass them on, just remove them completely. The second type is more deceptive because it looks religious. Distorted images. Pictures or statues that seem holy but come from esoteric origins. Padre Pio warned that the devil disguises himself as piety to sneak into believers' homes. If he showed up as he really is, we'd recognize him. But dressed as something spiritual, we let our guard down. It might be an angel with no name, a Mary, that doesn't match any authentic devotion, or images mixing Christian symbols with pagan ones. If you look at a religious image and it doesn't draw your heart closer to God, trust that instinct. That's the Holy Spirit nudging you. Replace it with properly blessed images the Church recognizes. The third type, books and objects related to dark practices. Horoscope books, tarot cards, energy manuals, novels glorifying witchcraft. Padre Pio said words have spirit. What enters through your eyes reaches your heart. When you read material connected to divination or occult practices, you're opening a door in your soul. Things can walk through that you never intended to invite. One woman told Padre Pio she kept having nightmares. Her prayer life had dried up. She felt distant from God. He asked, "What have you been reading?" She'd been reading horoscopes daily and had books about communicating with spirits. He told her to get rid of all of it. Within days, the nightmares stopped. Within weeks, her peace returned. That's spiritual cause and effect. The fourth type, souvenirs from trips. Masks from tribal regions, statues of foreign deities, talismans with symbols you don't understand. Padre Pio said, "Where man invokes another god, there is shadow. When you buy a mask used in pagan rituals or a statue people worshipped, you're bringing that history into your home. You might see art. Spiritually, it carries whatever was invoked over it. If you already have things like this, bless them with holy water. But if after blessing you still feel uncomfortable, get rid of it. Don't sell it or give it away. Just remove it entirely. Now, before we continue, the best defense against spiritual darkness isn't just removing bad things. It's filling your home with light. One of the most powerful weapons Padre Pio used daily was the Rosary. That's why we created the Power of the Rosary with Padre Pio, miracles, protection, and divine graces. This resource helps you pray the Rosary with deeper devotion, just like Padre Pio did. You'll discover miracles and testimonies, learn his teachings about prayer, and get a 30-day prayer guide with daily intentions, plus special prayers for protection, healing, and deliverance. The Rosary was Padre Pio's greatest weapon, and today it can be yours too. To download it, click the link pinned in the comments. The fifth type is deeply personal, things that evoke sin or pain. Photographs from broken relationships, letters from past loves that ended badly, gifts from people who hurt you deeply. Padre Pio taught that the devil feeds on resentment and emotional attachment. When you hold on to objects tying you to painful past, you keep wounds open that God wants to heal. A man came to Padre Pio feeling stuck. He couldn't move forward, couldn't find joy. Padre Pio asked if he was holding on to anything from his past. The man admitted he kept letters and photos from a relationship that ended in betrayal years ago. Padre Pio said, "My son, how can God write a new chapter in your life if you're still clutching the old pages?" The man went home, burned everything. He said it felt like chains falling off. Within months, his whole life changed. The sixth type, entertainment that offends God. Movies glorifying violence or impurity, music promoting values opposite to the gospel, content mocking faith. Padre Pio wept seeing Christian homes filled with spiritual garbage. He said many Catholics have the enemy sitting in their living room, speaking through the television. That was decades ago. Imagine what he'd say about smartphones pouring content into our minds without filter. You can pray all you want, but if you come home and consume content contradicting everything you prayed about, you're sabotaging your soul. It's like filling a bucket with holes. Grace keeps leaking through what you're watching, listening to, scrolling through. Ask the Holy Spirit for discernment. Look at your entertainment honestly and ask, does this bring me closer to God or further away? And now the seventh type. This one might be most dangerous because it's so deceptive. Religious objects without blessing. Crucifixes you bought but never had blessed. Medals, scapulars, rosaries that look holy but were never consecrated. Holy water bottles never blessed by a priest. You know what shocked me? Most people don't realize this is even an issue. They think if they bought something at a religious store, it's automatically good. But that's not how it works. Padre Pio warned these objects are like weapons without ammunition. They look pious, but if they haven't been blessed through the Church's sacramental authority, they don't carry spiritual power that protects and sanctifies. They're just objects. Nice, maybe meaningful, but spiritually neutral at best. The blessing isn't just ritual, it's a real spiritual act. When a priest blesses an object, he's calling down God's grace, setting it apart for sacred use, sealing it with the cross so the enemy can't use it. Without that blessing, you've got symbol without substance. Padre Pio was passionate about this. He'd tell everyone, bring everything to be blessed. Everything. Let the priest seal with the cross what the devil would want to use without permission. Even holy water at home needs renewal. These details matter. If you were going into battle, would you want real armor or decorative armor? That's the difference between blessed sacramentals and unblessed objects. One is spiritually active, the other is decoration. Gather every religious item not blessed. Your crucifix, rosary, medals, holy cards, statues. Put them in a bag, take them to your parish, ask the priest to bless them. Most priests are happy to do this. It takes minutes, but the spiritual difference is enormous. After dealing with these 7 types, Padre Pio recommended something beautiful. Walk through each room with a rosary in your hand. Stop in each space and say to Jesus, you are the Lord of this house. Then take blessed holy water and sprinkle it in corners, around doors, around windows, making the sign of the cross. Padre Pio promised that where that name is spoken with faith, evil spirits flee, and sickness dissolves like smoke. It's just claiming your home for Christ, inviting his presence into every corner. Set aside time when you can move through your home without rushing. Turn off distractions, maybe light a blessed candle. Start in one room and move methodically. As you walk, ask honest questions. Where did this come from? Does it honor God? When in doubt, bless it with holy water. If you still feel uncomfortable, it needs to go. Keep a bag with you. Put anything questionable in there. Don't second-guess yourself. If it doesn't belong spiritually, get rid of it completely. Pray this out loud as you move through your home. Lord Jesus, enter this house. Rest in every room. Drive out from here all shadow, all sickness, all sadness. May only your presence dwell among us. Amen. Simple, but powerful. You're claiming your territory for Christ. And as you do this, invite Mary to walk with you. Say, Mother Mary, walk with me. Help me see what needs to go. Bring your purity into this place. Where she enters, darkness has to leave. Place a blessed image of Mary somewhere central. When you pray, light a candle near her image. If you have a priest you trust, ask him to come bless your house. But if that's not possible, you can do this yourself. God hears his children's prayers. Sometimes one person has to take the lead spiritually. Your family might actually feel the difference once you're done. This isn't one time and done. Spiritual housekeeping is ongoing. Make it a habit to pray through your home regularly. Keep holy water accessible. Pay attention when new things come in. So, here we are. We've walked through 7 types of objects that can attract sickness and sadness. Amulets insulting God's providence, distorted images that deceive, books from dark practices, souvenirs carrying spiritual baggage, objects tied to pain, entertainment poisoning the soul, and religious items without blessing's power. But this isn't really about objects, it's about trust. Where we place our faith, what we allow to influence us, how seriously we take the spiritual dimension of everyday life. Padre Pio understood our homes are extensions of our hearts. What we surround ourselves with reflects what we value. This isn't about living in fear. Fear is the enemy's tool. This is about living in freedom, knowing you've removed every obstacle between you and God's grace. When you clean your home spiritually, you're making space for light. You're saying yes to peace, yes to protection, yes to God's presence. There's no object more powerful than faith, no perfume purer than a soul that trusts completely in God. You don't need a perfect home. You need a home where the Holy Spirit feels welcome, where prayer rises naturally, where Christ is recognized as Lord. Remember what Padre Pio said, "Bless your house, and your house will bless you." When you honor God in your home, when you remove what doesn't belong and consecrate what remains, your home becomes a source of blessing back to you. It becomes a place of healing, rest, renewal. The walls themselves seem to hold peace. Today is your day to do this, not with anxiety, but with faith, not with superstition, but with love. When you eliminate what attracts darkness, you create room for light to flood in. In the comments below, write the name of your home or your family. As you write it, you're joining thousands of others asking Saint Michael and the Virgin Mary to protect your dwelling place. Your comment matters. It's an act of faith, and faith moves mountains. Share this message with someone who needs it. That friend who's been struggling, that family member whose home feels heavy. You never know what soul you might help by simply passing along a blessing. Here's one last thing Padre Pio repeated constantly. Where the Rosary is prayed, the devil does not enter. Not, might not enter, does not enter. It's a promise, so make sure the Rosary never leaves your hands. Make sure a blessed crucifix hangs in your home. And if someday you feel sadness or sickness without clear reason, maybe the soul of your house is asking for prayer too. Your home is meant to be a sanctuary, a little piece of heaven on earth. Don't settle for less. You have the tools now. You have the knowledge. You have the prayers. And you have God's promise that when you seek Him, He will protect everyone under your roof. Go do this. Clean your home spiritually. Bless what should be blessed. Remove what needs removing. Pray through every room. Invite Mary to walk with you. Claim your territory for Christ. And watch what happens. Watch how peace settles in. Watch how blessings begin to flow. Brothers and sisters, what we're doing here is more than videos. It's a mission. It's about keeping Padre Pio's teachings alive, spreading faith in a world that needs it, reaching souls searching for truth. This message only reaches more people when you help it spread. Every like tells the platform this content matters. Every share could land in front of someone at exactly the moment they need it. Every person who becomes a member helps us continue creating content that strengthens faith and brings people closer to Christ. If this message touched your heart, hit that like button. Share this video, send it to your family group chat, post it where people who need hope can find it. Consider becoming a member of the channel. Members get exclusive content, special prayers, and the satisfaction of knowing they're supporting the spread of God's Word. We're building a spiritual family, a community of believers who understand faith isn't passive. It's active, shared, lived out loud. You belong here. Your voice matters. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for taking these teachings seriously. May God bless your home, protect your family, and fill every corner of your life with His peace. And may Padre Pio intercede for each of us as we walk this journey of faith together. Dear brothers and sisters watching me now, have you ever stopped to think about how many sleepless nights you've spent reliving worries and anxieties? How many times has your pillow been the silent witness to tears shed over problems that seem to have no solution? If you can relate to this, know that you're not alone. And today, I have a powerful revelation to share with you. Padre Pio, in his infinite wisdom, left us 3 simple but incredibly transformative practices that we should do every night before going to sleep. Pay close attention, because applying these 3 things can completely change your life, bringing peace to your heart and transforming your nights of rest. If you believe in the power of prayer and the wisdom of Padre Pio, write in the comments, "I trust in the wisdom of Saint Padre Pio." This will help me share this message with more people who, like you, need to know about this special teaching. Many people spend fortunes on sleeping pills, therapies, and treatments, when in reality, the solution may lie in something much simpler and deeper. Padre Pio discovered that our moments before sleep are crucial, not just for our physical health, but especially for our inner peace. Imagine waking up every morning, feeling an inexplicable lightness, with a smile on your face and the certainty that everything will be okay. Does that seem like a distant dream? I assure you it's possible, and I'm going to show you exactly how to make it happen. What I'm about to share with you isn't a set of complicated techniques or elaborate rituals. These are 3 simple practices that anyone can do, no matter their situation or circumstances. And most importantly, these practices have transformed the lives of thousands of people who have already put them into practice. Before revealing these 3 powerful steps, it's important for you to understand something fundamental. The moments before we sleep are when our spirit is most receptive, most open to receiving blessings and transformations. It is during this time that we can truly reprogram our minds and hearts to attract all the good things we deserve. Stay with me until the end, because I'm going to explain each of these practices in detail, and I guarantee you'll be amazed by their simplicity and at the same time, by their transformative power. These are teachings shared by Padre Pio that unfortunately many people are still unaware of. And one very important thing, don't wait until tomorrow to start. The time to transform your life is now. Every night that passes without applying these practices is a missed opportunity to experience true peace and wake up with more joy in your heart. Before revealing the first practice taught by Padre Pio, we need to understand why so many people struggle with restless nights and wake up without the energy to face a new day. In his wisdom, Padre Pio recognized that the greatest problem isn't in the mattress we use or the medications we take, but in the state of our heart as we prepare to sleep. Have you noticed how hard it is to have a good night's sleep when we're weighed down by worries? It's as if our mind turns into a movie projector, replaying all our problems, fears, and anxieties over and over. And so, the night passes, we lose sleep, and wake up even more tired the next day. Padre Pio, during his years of spiritual counseling, identified that many people suffer because they don't know how to manage their thoughts and emotions before going to bed. He realized that this moment, the final minutes before we close our eyes, is crucial not only for the quality of our sleep, but for our entire life. And do you know what was the most remarkable discovery he made? That we don't need complicated practices or lengthy prayers to transform our nights. In fact, there are 3 simple things that anyone can do, no matter their age or life situation. These practices have the power to clear our minds, calm our hearts, and prepare us for truly restorative sleep. What struck Padre Pio the most was noticing how these three practices, when done consistently, not only improve our sleep, but also begin to transform every aspect of our lives. It's as if, by taking care of our last thoughts of the day, we plant seeds of blessings that bloom in all areas of our existence. Many people ask me why these practices are so special. The answer is simple. They directly address the three greatest sources of sleep disturbances: ingratitude, resentment, and lack of trust. Padre Pio knew that if we could resolve these three issues before going to bed, we would naturally find the peace we so desperately seek. Now I'm going to share with you the first of these practices, and I ask you to pay close attention because it may seem simple at first, but it has an impressive transformative power. This is a practice that Padre Pio himself used every night and taught to everyone who sought him for peace and serenity. The first practice Padre Pio taught us is gratitude. But not just any superficial kind of gratitude. He taught us a special way of giving thanks that has the power to completely transform our perspective on life and, consequently, the quality of our sleep. Padre Pio explained that before going to bed, we should close our eyes and give thanks for three specific things. First, for something good that happened during the day, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant. Second, for something that challenged us, because it is through difficulties that we grow the most. And third, for something that hasn't happened yet, but that we hope to achieve, as if we've already received it. You might be thinking, but how can I be grateful when everything seems to be going wrong? And that's exactly where the secret of this practice lies. Padre Pio taught that gratitude does not depend on external circumstances, but on our ability to see beyond appearances. When we give thanks for something good that happened during the day, we are training ourselves to recognize the blessings that often go unnoticed. It could be a smile we received, a meal we enjoyed, a moment of peace, or simply the fact that we are alive and breathing. Being thankful for difficulties is even more powerful. Padre Pio said that every obstacle is a hidden opportunity. When we express gratitude for challenges, we acknowledge that they make us stronger, wiser, and better prepared for the blessings to come. Finally, giving thanks in advance for something we desire is an act of pure faith. It demonstrates trust that our prayers have already been heard and that the answer is on its way. This could be healing from an illness, resolving a financial problem, or reconciling a relationship. Padre Pio observed that people who practiced this form of gratitude began to notice significant changes in their lives. First, they slept better because their last thoughts before sleep were positive and filled with hope. Then they began to find more reasons to be thankful throughout the day, creating a virtuous cycle of blessings. This practice is especially powerful because it reprograms our minds. Instead of going to bed weighed down by worries and fears, we go with hearts full of gratitude. And when we change the way we see our lives begin to change before our very eyes. The best part is that this gratitude practice doesn't require much time. Just a few minutes before bed are enough. What matters isn't the duration, but the sincerity and consistency with which we practice it. Padre Pio assured that over time, this practice would become as natural as breathing. The second practice that Padre Pio taught us is forgiveness, one of the most liberating acts we can engage in before going to sleep. He noticed that many people carried the weight of resentments, grievances, and unspoken words to bed, turning what should be a moment of rest into hours of anguish and restlessness. When we talk about forgiveness, we're not just referring to forgiving others, but also, most importantly, about forgiving ourselves. Padre Pio explained that carrying guilt and self-criticism to bed is like trying to sleep with a stone under your pillow. That's why he taught us a simple but profoundly transformative exercise. Before going to bed, we should do three things. First, identify something we did during the day that caused us regret or guilt. It could be a poorly chosen word, a moment of impatience, or a missed opportunity to do good. Instead of punishing ourselves for it, we should acknowledge the mistake with compassion and forgive ourselves. Next, we need to identify someone who has hurt us or caused us pain, whether recently or in the past. It doesn't matter if the person apologized, acknowledged their mistake or not. The forgiveness we offer doesn't depend on the other person's actions, but on our decision to free ourselves from the burden of resentment. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, we must forgive the circumstances in life that didn't go as planned. How often do we hold on to frustration over a project that failed, an expectation that wasn't met, or a dream that had to be postponed? Padre Pio teaches us that forgiving life means accepting that not everything is under our control. This practice of forgiveness holds extraordinary power because it directly addresses our deepest emotions. When we forgive, we're not saying that what happened was right or acceptable. We're simply choosing not to carry the weight of that situation anymore. Padre Pio observed that people who practiced forgiveness before bed began to notice remarkable changes in their lives. First, their sleep became more peaceful, free from those anguished awakenings in the middle of the night. Then their relationships began to improve because a heart free from resentment becomes more open to giving and receiving love. An interesting discovery he made was that forgiveness, practiced regularly before sleep, starts to naturally extend to other moments of the day. It's like building a spiritual muscle that strengthens with daily exercise. Over time, forgiveness becomes our first reaction to adversity, instead of holding grudges or seeking revenge. The beauty of this practice is that it teaches us that forgiveness is not a sign of weakness, but of inner strength. It's not about forgetting what happened, but about choosing our peace above all else. Padre Pio said that every act of forgiveness is like opening a window for light to enter our soul. And remember, forgiveness doesn't have to be a long or complicated process. Sometimes a simple "I forgive myself" or "I forgive you," said sincerely before bed, is enough to begin dissolving years of accumulated resentment. What matters most is the genuine intention behind the words. The third and final practice Padre Pio taught us is trust, a deliberate act of surrender that has the power to transform nights of worry into moments of deep peace. He observed that many people go to bed carrying the weight of the world on their shoulders, as if they must solve all their problems before falling asleep. This practice involves doing something seemingly simple, but incredibly courageous: letting go of all our worries before sleep. Padre Pio explained that we should visualize each worry, fear, or problem weighing on us, and consciously make the act of trusting that a greater plan is at work. He taught us to do this in a practical way. First, identify 3 main worries occupying your mind. These could be health issues, financial concerns, complicated relationships, or any other situation causing you anxiety. Instead of mentally trying to solve these problems, consciously release them. The secret lies in understanding that trust doesn't mean giving up or becoming passive in the face of problems. On the contrary, it's about recognizing that we've done our part during the day and that now it's time to rest, allowing solutions to emerge naturally at the right time. Padre Pio observed that people who practiced this act of trust began sleeping much better, as they no longer spent the night tossing and turning, trying to solve every problem. Moreover, they often woke up with ideas and insights that wouldn't have come if they had remained trapped in the cycle of worry. This practice holds a special power because it directly addresses our tendency for excessive control. When we trust, we acknowledge that not everything depends solely on us. It's an act of humility and, at the same time, wisdom. What's most fascinating is that over time, this practice also begins to influence how we act during the day. we start to realize that we can do our part without carrying the weight of anxiety about the results. It's as if we learn to dance with life instead of fighting against it. Padre Pio emphasized that this practice of trust is not an escape from reality, but a wiser way of dealing with it. When we trust, our sleep becomes deeper and more restorative, and we wake up with greater energy and mental clarity to face the challenges of the next day. And so, with these three practices, gratitude, forgiveness, and trust, Padre Pio left us a true treasure of wisdom. These are simple yet profoundly transformative tools that can completely change our experience of life, starting with the moment we close our eyes to sleep. If you've made it this far, you now hold the power to transform your nights and consequently your days. Start today. Don't wait for everything to be perfect or for ideal conditions. Change begins with a small step, with a simple decision to practice these teachings. Remember, gratitude to open your heart to blessings, forgiveness to free your soul from unnecessary burdens, and trust to find the peace you've been seeking. Padre Pio assured us that by consistently practicing these three things, we would see profound transformations in our lives. If this teaching touched your heart, share it with someone you love. Sometimes, a simple message can be the start of a great transformation in someone's life. And don't forget to turn on the notification bell to receive more messages of light and wisdom in your life. Tonight, as you prepare for bed, remember this. You hold in your hands three powerful keys to transform not just your sleep, but your entire life. These are simple practices that Padre Pio left us as a precious gift to find peace amidst life's turbulences. And don't think you need to do everything perfectly from the very first day. Start small, with little steps. Maybe tonight you focus on gratitude, tomorrow you add forgiveness, and then trust. What matters isn't perfection, but consistency and sincerity in your practice. Padre Pio always emphasized that the greatest transformations begin with small changes in our daily routines. By incorporating these three practices before sleep, you are creating a new pattern in your life, a pattern of peace, lightness, and well-being. Think of how many nights you've spent awake, burdened with worries and anxieties. Now you have practical tools to turn that time into a moment of peace. These practices have already transformed the lives of thousands and can transform yours too. Remember that every night is a new opportunity to practice these teachings. Even if a day doesn't go as planned, even if you face challenges or difficulties, you can always start fresh when bedtime comes. If this knowledge touched your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with family and friends, especially those you know are going through difficult times. Sometimes, a simple message can be the beginning of a great transformation in someone's life. Turn on notifications so you won't miss any teachings that can bring more light and wisdom to your life. And remember, the peace you're seeking is closer than you think. All it takes is practicing these three simple teachings of Padre Pio every night before you sleep. The transformation you desire begins tonight with a simple act of gratitude, a gesture of forgiveness, and a moment of trust. Don't wait until later. Your life can start to change right now.